Hi, you're welcome back. This is 21B, the Shenwai lathe, made in Taiwan, and in my opinion, a completely underrated lathe. But there are problems with it, and I want to try and help you with it. So, in the first clip, we showed you an overview of the lathe and its merits and demerits, and then we move on to removing the chuck and making the apparatus for the chuck. Now, if you can turn, cameraman, just like that. There's the whole lot hanging up there on the wall. See it there? So that'll just give you an idea. You can hang the whole lot up. It's hard handy to have it. Come a bit to the left, to the right here too. Yeah, and then to the right. And keep it up on the roof and bring it around. So that gives you an idea. You can hang the whole lot on the wall. And you'll see from my ceiling, I used to nail lids of jam pots and keep stuff in them. It's not a good idea. Glass has no place in a workshop. Glass has no place in a workshop. Don't do it. Use some other method. Anyway, the problem here with this lathe is that the electrics give trouble. First of all, you have an excellent push-pull switch there, and I'm going to take this off for you. You have an excellent push-pull switch in there, and if you want to pause a second, cameraman, just a second. You have this, there's two solenoids in there, and that one puts the lathe forward, and that one puts the lathe forward, backwards, and they're made of non-conductive material, so they're safe to handle. Now, so what I've done was, there's two solenoids in each one of those, and they burn out in time. If they're not burned out, lovely, but they will eventually go. And they're driven from a transformer which brings the 220 volts from the mains down to 110 volt for safety. But strangely, only the solenoids are 110 volt. All the rest is 220 volts, 230 volt. And it drives a split phase motor, a motor that goes forward and reverse, a single phase split, so capacitor motor. So what I'm going to show you now is, when they go, you can't start or stop the lathe. Now, just if cameraman just comes around here, the switches are in here in this housing, and that's driven from this shaft. And so once the main electrics go, all is gone. You can't start the lathe other than by pushing in here with a stick. If you're doing that, use something like wood, don't use metal. But again, very messy. So you want to replicate the solenoids that's in it. And I'm going to show you how to do that using a push-pull cable. And the push-pull cable in Ireland is supplied by push-pull cables in Rathcoole in Dublin, and there's the number 014588688, and it's 053 if you're ringing outside the Republic of Ireland. So that's 014588688. And one of the staff there about 2 years ago, or maybe a little more, gave me the cable for experimental purposes, and I just want to give him a plug. So the push-pull cable. So what we're doing is we're replacing all the electrics with a push-pull cable. And if you come around here, cameraman, now I want to show you, leave them there safely, what I've done. The first thing is that this shaft here goes forward and backwards, and you want to retain that. So there's a collar made here with two grub screws to clamp on it, just right up against here where it won't get in the way. There's plenty, it doesn't inhibit it. And there's an arm welded onto it with a connector for the push-pull cable. Now I'll put a bit of paper behind it so you can see it a little better. If you come around this side now, camera. Now there, you see it there. There is the arm going down. There is the end of the cable. There. And now, if you come down more, you'll see the cable extends in there. And over here now, come across the bed. Come across the bed here now. You'll see it here again. You'll see the. I'll go around here. You'll see the cable going through here, and it's attached here to an arm. Now, The key here is to show you this is, you can work this out for yourself. There's a plate on here, use my finger camera, there's a plate here bolted that goes over here and to which this cable end is affixed. And then you have, this is the little ball joint, and this is the arm. And so when you bend that, when you do that, the cable goes in and out. You get the idea. And that's attached to this, and all of this is conducive to this. It's as if the lathe was made for this purpose. This box here, it means you have no fixing, all just screws in. I don't even think I had to drill a hole. This goes on here, and this goes on here, and that's that. Now, I'm going to get you the dimensions of that in a minute, but before I do, I want to draw that out for you here. And show you how it works. It's like this. You have a round piece like that, and then you have an arm like that, and there's a hole there, and there's a screw here, and another screw here. Usually there's a track here, or there's a track milled, and that will go into the track in here like that. And then you have this little spud. You'll get them, I don't know where I got them. Sometimes I think they come with the cable. And then, so looking at it sideways, you have this effect. And then you have the arm. And then you have the wee ball here, little ball, and the cable goes on then, it just slips in there and over and back. So I think you get the idea there. That's the arm. Now, one thing, Cameron, we may have to pause. I don't see the ruler. Now, we're 3 inches from the centre of the shaft down to this little ball joint, this little spidget. 3 inches. That's it. Now, go by that. That works. Now that can vary a little, but it has to be varied elsewhere as well. And then in here, I know you can't get in so well, into where it's held, it's 7 inches in. So what effectively you have the cable attached to a thing like that at the end, and that's in there. Okay, that's that bit done there. Now, the next thing then is you need a 36-inch cable, or metric equivalent, and you see it coming round here. There it's there. Okay. You have to the lip of the camera, the little cover. So this is the cable. So you're replacing that. Now, it's a lot of trouble to take off this cover here, I think. I don't know, should we bother with it? Maybe there's more than that around there. No, not now, but I can show it to you again anyway if I need to. But you have to make a very thin plate of steel backing. And if you shine in there, cameraman, you'll see it. There's the backing. And then you have a thin plate that just this bolts on to, it just goes between this solenoid holder switch and the main part of the lathe. And if memory serves me, I had to slightly drill out some hole just here, but there are adequate holes. I think you may have to widen 1 or 2, but if you can avoid drilling the cast iron frame, all the better. So I'm shouting a little so that I make sure to be heard, because I can't really use a microphone too well. So you have the plate. You then have these 2 extensions. You weld them up with this completely across. You drill them, and then you cut this section out. And the big thing of this is the toggle, I call it. I don't know whether toggle is correct, but camera, you can show the toggle here. The toggle comprises this fella, right? It's a piece of inch steel cut out here with 2 locators that go into these holes, and then you have this, it can do this, and you have a spring like that. Now you'll get the idea, and this is the holder. So I'll put it in here, and now, sorry, just keep. Now, I just want to get these 2 here. I don't have it on. Oh, I have it here. So now we put these in, and we put the 6 8mm screws. Now there are little locators. Don't expect the screw to locate. You put the locators in first, little witnesses, and then you put in your screws. Like that. And you screw them in, and if you want to pause the camera now, we'll tighten them up. Now, while the pause was on, I tightened up these bolts, and you can see the idea. The cable comes up here from the lever, and this is just a welding rod I put in because it's the screw is missing, but just for now. And this goes like this. Now, these are 2 brass pieces. These are drilled so that they coincide exactly with the 2 little plungers here. and they go a nice snug fit up against it, and they're made so that they'll go into the holes and filed so they fit. So drill them as best you can towards the centre, and then you can file the two brass pieces after you turn them down to suit the two tops, so they can go like that. They're taken over here then to this cross member, and there's a little spring here just to keep a little tended to keep to the centre. Now this arm comes out here, and this is where the end of the cable attaches, and I think I had to make this part. So if you just show there, yeah, and then you can show from here as well. Now some might argue you could cut that off there, you don't need that piece. You could. I just want that wee bit in it. You could make it like that, but I have this. If you look here now, look at the way it's. There's a little piece coming up here, and that spring might be done without in many cases. Anyway, that's the idea. So the idea is that this does this, and I'll just give you some measurements. From this is inch steel to the center of this pivot here, it's 5 centimeters or 2 inches. So just 2 inches out from here is that, right? This here is little less than inch, and the two little plungers are 1 3/4 inches. You can convert that to metric if you like, apart. The holes are roughly ½ inch, a little less. 2 8mm cup screws, bolts, holds it in place, good and solid, and then you have this swivel, and this is very important. You can put a row of holes along here so you have able to vary the throw of it. But anyway, what I have here is 3 1/4 inches, or if we go metric, 8.4 centimeters. So now the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and I'm going to put on the switch now here, and don't work on this with the electricity on, and we'll go, hopefully now when I work the lever you'll see the lathe turning. So I'll just go between you here now, and we're going to give it a try. So we'd say 1 2 3, and there it's running. There it's running. Okay, the back gear is turning there. That doesn't matter, it's just going around the friction. There it's running. Now we're going to stop, and we're going to reverse. So now, cameraman, just get this first. Stop. Forward. Now just here the pulley first. We'll do the toggle in a minute. Top forward. See there? So you can go backwards, forwards. Now I want you to please, if you get the toggle forward. See? That now. Stop. Reverse. Stop. Forward. And then if you come around here, cameraman. There it is. Come around here, you'll see it working here. It doesn't matter if this can move, the saddle can move, it makes no difference. That's reverse. That's forward. And that's it. Now, like I say, if you have this a little shorter, you need to have the toggle a little shorter. So this here is 3 inches. Almost identical. It is exactly 3 inches, so go for that. Little variation won't matter. If this here, this is a little more than 3 and a little. If you have that shorter, you'll have a faster action. If you have it a little slower, you'll have a slightly slower action. You just have to fiddle around till you get it to work right. And on this case, 3 1/4 works perfectly with it. Now, some might say that that's going to arc the contacts inside. It hasn't done it so far, but do get into the habit of using up and down. Only use a slow start and stop where you have to. So that's basically the push-pull cable for the Shenwai lathe, and that means that your lathe is back in business. I'm doing that now for over 3 or 4 years. I've shown you how to get the chuck off and on. I've shown you how to bypass the whole electrics without any danger. And you may have to, remove some of the wires here. If you do, label them carefully. Label them and photograph them. Because once you put them back the same as they were, what you're doing is you're taking out the wires that run the solenoid. And that's, folks, how I brought my Shenwai 900, although 900 is not on it. This is provided by a company called Excel in England there. I don't know whether they're still selling parts. And I think it's been working. There's points, and you can always bring your motor. I just like the cameraman, if you would, to get a wee look at the motor assembly here. Just see the motor in there. See the motor? I'll hold it up. See? You have 2 speeds there, and then they're on it, and you have a back gear. You have all you want. So now you can put himself on the thing. Please like and subscribe. I have an email address on the site. Maybe I'll put it on again for viewers. Where's my pen? It's not there at the moment, don't see it, so that happens. But I'll be giving it again. It's VALAMHIC, valavic@gmail.com, VALAMHIC@gmail.com if you have any questions. But please like and subscribe. This is not for everybody, but hopefully now these machines that I'm very fond of, and there's a lovely stand and all, and they're around. I know they're in the United States, they're in Europe, they're everywhere else, and I know they're lying up because this problem hits and no one fixes them. You'll fix these. About 10 hours work will make the part for removing the chuck, and this piece here with a push-pull cable, and get on to that company in Dublin. And they gave me the whole lot for nothing. They said we'll be part of it, so I'd like to give them a little bit of a plug. Push-pull cables in Dublin, and rat cool. I get your cable 36 inches, the length of the cable, 36 inches. So if you have to go metric, it's 89 centimetre. 36 inches, that's what suits it exactly. And the cable comes round, and it comes round the motor. Make sure it's not touching any of the wiring, and away you go. And them is the 2 parts I did, and hopefully that's some good. Just before I stop, we'll put the rattly old. It has a rattly back here. Now you shouldn't use that without the cover, and the cover is here. So put the cover on. And you have all your cutting stuff here, and there's a sort of a big clay cover on them, which is not, you don't normally get them now. Unfortunately, I damaged it a bit. So it has that old world appearance. Coach, we let you go on that battery getting low. Thank you.